I saw the latest Disney movie, Wish. This movie has been advertised as a movie 100 years in the making for a really stupid reason, and that it's like, this is the origin story ultimately for the song When You Wish Upon a Star. A song that I don't think needs an origin story. I don't think songs need origin stories. Wouldn't the origin story be the thing that it was written for? So like, we don't really need an origin story for Pinocchio that Pinocchio's not even connected to. That being said, the attempts by this film to try and like set up like, oh, this is like a prequel to basically all of the other animated Disney canon really feels like it was something that was thrown on at the last minute to try and make it more of like a tie-in to everything else. Completely unnecessary. Would have been better without it. But there was some talk on Twitter because if you've seen the trailer, it's about a king who collects the wishes of his kingdom and he chooses which ones to grant. And, you know, he's the villain of the movie, but a lot of people were like, well, hang on. If, you know, he's collecting the wishes to make sure that only the good wishes get granted, isn't that a good thing? Because if all the wishes were granted, some of those could be actually really dangerous wishes. But they're missing vital information. People's wishes in this world, they don't just have the wish and then it can just automatically be granted just because they've got the wish sphere. All of that is the king's magic. The king actually pulls the wish out of you and turns it into this little blue floaty sphere, and then he decides whether to grant it. So it's all the king's magic. And it's all like a symptom of control, because the other thing that the trailer doesn't really get into is that when he pulls the wish out of you, you forget it. So it's not just that he's deciding which wishes are good to fulfill. He's taking the best part of his kingdom and hiding it away in his tower. So for people who are like, oh, maybe he's right. No. This is dystopian thought control. Okay, so don't be like, oh, maybe the king had a point. No, I guarantee you he did not have a point. As for the characters in the film, Asha, she's the main character, she feels kind of generic in like the modern Disney heroine kind of a generic sense. She's like over enthusiastic and slightly clumsy, kind of like Anna from Frozen. Magnifico, the king, he felt like a pretty solid classic Disney villain, and they actually do a dark magic corruption storyline in this film that I think a lot of writers could take notes from. Because too often you see corruption stories like so many times in World of Warcraft where you take a character and just do a character assassination and have them like, oh, they have been corrupted by something and suddenly they're acting completely different from how they did. They do like a 180 and stuff. Or like outside of World of Warcraft, like Daenerys' fall in Game of Thrones, where like her behavior in the last season ran completely against everything that she had done up to that point, right? No, it's not like that. In this film, he is already a manipulative and selfish guy, but you can at least understand his motivations. And it's those motivations that lead him to his downfall by using the dark magic and becoming corrupted. As for the other characters, Valentino, the talking goat, I was really worried about him because he looked like an annoying DreamWorks character based on what the trailer showed. Like in the trailers, when he like gets the magic dust and starts talking, he like literally makes the DreamWorks face at the screen. And I was worried that he was going to be super annoying, but he's not overused, and I don't actually think he's obnoxious. Like, I think the most obnoxious things that he does in the movie are the things that they showed in the trailer. Other than that, I actually quite liked him. I actually laughed at some of the things that he did. Star, the eponymous star that is being wished upon, who shows up to, you know, save the day and rescue all the wishes. Star's a non-speaking character, so he's just, you know, he's kind of like Carpet from Aladdin, and he's so cute. See, there's like a moment where he like tries to put on a disguise and it's just, he's still a star, but he's got like a little handlebar mustache on. He has a lot of just really cute moments. There's only so much to talk about with him because he doesn't talk, but why don't I move on to the music though? A lot of the songs are kind of forgettable. One thing I noticed, Lin-Manuel Miranda did not write the music for this one. He's done other Disney movies, like he did Moana and he did Encanto, but he didn't work on this one. But you can still feel his effect on Disney because all of the songs here are kind of written trying to ape Lin-Manuel's like meter, but it's from people who aren't used to writing in Lin-Manuel's meter, and so you get a lot of stuff where it's very inelegant and they can't quite capture his cadence that well. Like this Wish, which is the titular, the big I Want song, and it's the one that plays in the trailer. I think it has like a really strong hook to start, but because of the meter, I think it loses something. I think like it kind of peters out because of the kind of like syncopated meter of it. It doesn't quite work for me. That being said, there's like an ensemble song called Knowing What I Know Now, which is kind of like the One Day More song. If you've seen Les Mis, One Day More is the song where everyone comes together because they're it's that kind of a song, but it starts off with some of that Lin-Manuel style lyrics, but once they get into the actual hook, it's easily the strongest number in the film, and it's just them getting ready to confront the king. It slaps. Like, look it up. It's so good. I don't know that this is going to be the one that charts though. I want it to, but I don't think it will. Because like when I saw Encanto, I thought Surface Pressure for sure was going to be the one that charted, and then it ended up being We Don't Talk About Bruno. But this song, Knowing What I Know Now, it's not perfect at the start of it. They're still trying to get the Lin-Manuel stuff, but the hook is solid. Really good song. No Redux says, it sounds like Wish is less an actual movie and more like an attempt to steal stuff from public domain. No, I'm sorry. That stuff is kind of tagged on at the end. That is not the main point of the film. The film itself has its story. It's just that some of the wishes are like I think you can see Peter Pan in one of the Wish globes. And just there's implications that some of these wishes actually end up resolving in other movies. But they didn't have to do that. And it's not vital to the story that they did that. So that's stuff that's like tagged on as Easter eggs at the end. It's not the main focus of the film. The main focus of the film is actually about a dictator who seems benevolent, but once you get a peek behind the curtain and you see the horrors of what it means to run the kingdom the way he does. Yeah, no, it's more of, a question authority and question power. And ultimately, it's about not like getting a magic wish to fulfill everything, but it's about wishes are about your wants and your desires and your aspirations, right? It's about things that you should be working to achieve. That's the ultimate message of the film. It's not that, your wishes should be granted. It's that if you have a wish, you should work to try and achieve it yourself. I think the movie's mostly fine. You'll have some people who are saying it was entirely made just to be a prequel to the rest of the Disney canon, but it really isn't. That's mostly just Easter egg stuff at the end. And like the movie would have done just fine without any of that. You could pull it out, all of those little jokey bits out, and the whole thing still works. The main one I would say, though, is that Asha, she is driven to do this because she applies to be the apprentice to the king. And while there, she sees her grandpa's wish, which is to write a song to inspire people. And ultimately just she is motivated because she's like, this is like the king's like, I don't know, inspire people to do what? It's too vague. Inspire them to revolt, maybe. So the whole thing is she just is like, it's just a song. He just wants to write a song, and that song ultimately is When You Wish Upon a Star. Although if you leave before the end credits finish, you won't know that. It's at the post credit scene is where he plays the song. So anyway, it's fine. There is some of the rendering that they do in the film has a little bit, it feels more of like line work. It's still very much like the kind of standard CalArts 3D that you would get from another Disney film, but it does feel like they have been at least paying attention to what some of the other studios are doing, like Sony and DreamWorks with Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where, those were doing more stylized things. And so a lot of the animation in this film, the edges of models have like more defined lines, like they were hand drawn. But for the most part, it mostly will just feel like another 3D animated Disney movie. Anyway, it's fine. I've seen better Disney movies, but this was okay. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific and Sundays at 2 p.m., so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone Friend tier patron Pixel Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.